What a gorgeous day in Southern California. Low 70s, little breeze for the 49ers and Rams for the second time this season. San Francisco leads the NFC West, having won 4 straight. The Rams won last week, but still are in the cellar at 3-7. Hi, everybody. Jim Nantz along with Randy Cross. We're glad to have you with us. Randy, you played in many of these games. And what about the attitude right now for the 49ers having won 4 straight?
Well, if you've never been around a winning team, I think you would take it as arrogance and cockiness on the 49ers part. But George Seifert makes the point, hey, my team's operating at 65% potential. I think he's downplaying a little bit. But the 49ers only need to look at 2 weeks ago when the Steelers won a big Monday night game, came back and blew it the next week. The 49ers are very aware of having a downfall here.
Well, the Rams will start at quarterback T.J. Rubley. He started in the first game against the 49ers. This is his second career start, but they'll still rely heavily on the running game, a rookie running back, Jerome Bettis.
And the best thing to happen to T.J. Rubley would be for Bettis to run for big yards. The 49er defense has given up quite a few yards in the running side, and for Rubley, he can't press, he can't be pressured in his face, and the best way to do that is to have Jerome Bettis run for at least 100 yards.
All right, we're getting ready now for kickoff. Again, the record 7-3 for the 49ers, 3-7 for the Rams. And the Rams have won the toss and will receive. Key for the Rams today, Randy, what would you say?
I really have to think two. One, the running game with Jerome Bettis. They have got to run the ball against this 49er multiple front defense. And number two, as far as the passing game and the defense goes, you can't give up the big play to the 49ers. This 49er offense has so many weapons, you have to make them earn their points.
So we'll get a chance right away to see the Rams and their quarterback, T.J. Rubley, get on the field. Rubley struggled in that first game and really worried if he'd ever get another chance to start.
Well, that was his first big shot. You also have to take into consideration what he did last week, Jim. 6 of 7, came in against Washington, led him to that big comeback, led him to a win. I think the players have a lot of confidence in T.J. Rubley.
Yeah, he has engineered a couple of heroic fourth quarter moments for the Rams, and that's why he's earned his way back into the starting lineup, benching the beleaguered quarterback Jim Everett. And there's Jackie Slater, who will set the record today, the 246th game of his career, the most of any lineman in NFL history. He will set that record on the first snap. And the Rams have lost 19 of 20 against the NFC West. Howard Griffith running it back from the 2. Getting to the outside, nice run back. He's tripped at the 28-yard line by Nate Singleton. T.J. Rubley started on Halloween against the 49ers, but it was no treat. He threw 2 interceptions and was sacked 7 times. Irv Eatman on the left side, Slater on the right, with the record here today for Jackie Slater in his 18th year. Jerome Bettis, the second leading rookie running back in pro football. Lester joins him with Anderson, Ellard, and Carter. From the 28, out of the eye. Rubley throws it away. No Ram in the area. Pressure from Dennis Brown. Going to stop the game for a moment. A special presentation for Jackie Slater. His wife Ann, his sons Matthew and David here today. Chuck Knox cheering on. Chuck Knox drafted him in his first reign as the Rams coach in the 3rd round 2 decades ago.
And he's the only Ram player even close to still being around from Chuck Knox's first stint from 73 to 77.
2nd and 10 for the Rams. They brought in rookie tight end Troy Drayton. Jerome Bettis, maybe a yard. Artie Smith and Mike Walter combine on the hit. They shuttle in a lot of players on this 49ers defense.
it really isn't fair to say there's a starting defensive line. They use so many of these defensive guys in their multiple fronts, 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts, 3-man with what the 49ers call an elephant. So if you want starting linemen, I think you have to look at least at all 7 guys here, and that's not counting a couple guys right now that are out and banged up.
There's Dennis Brown. He's already had a quarterback hurry on this series on first down, actually. So now it's 3rd and 9 after the 1-yard run by Venice. Rubley across the middle. What a hit. Merton Hanks clobbered Cleveland Gary. And only a gain of a yard.
Merton Hanks is having a dream week. Monday night, that Monday Night Football game, he just lit it up. Interception return for a touchdown just sparked this entire 49er team because the offense was frustrated early by the Saints. Hanks' play was probably the one that really, that whole game turned on that one play, and he comes up with a huge hit on Gary there.
Also a dream week because his wife gave birth to their 2nd child. Now Sean Landetta, the former Giants punter, kicking to Dexter Carter. Fair catch, and Carter will set up the 49ers at the 27 after a 42-yard punt. Steve Young operates the #1 offense in the National Football League. He is rated as the #1 quarterback in pro football. Playing behind this offensive line that includes Jesse Sapolo, starting his 100th straight game. Not necessarily all at center because Randy Cross made him switch around a few times early in that streak.
That's right.
Ricky Waters, Mark Logan. Logan starts ahead of Rathman, but we'll see a lot of Rathman today at fullback. Plus, of course, Rice, Taylor, and Jones. Play action. Young. Threw that one too low for Mark Logan. Taking a look at the Rams defense. Randy, you say the strength of this defense is in the front 7.
It's definitely in the front 7. It's a fine defensive line. Tony Woods is out right now. He's substituting in as a starter, one of Chuck Knox's guy from the Seattle Seahawks. A good, solid defensive end.
Pfeiffer having a big year. Conlon in the middle and rolling on the outside. Patchwork secondary that includes Israel and Wyman Henderson on the corners. 2nd down and 10. At the 45. A gain of about 19, and we have an update. Let's send you back to New York. And here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, in Green Bay, Brett Favre to Sterling Sharp with 1:16 to play has given Green Bay a 13-10 lead. They're in the final 15 seconds. The Packers will have won 6 of their last 7 games. Jim?
All right, Greg, and that'll really set up a monster showdown next week when Green Bay will take on the Chicago Bears.
And Sterling Sharp, a lot like Jerry Rice, you know they're going to throw it to him. They'll tell you they're going to throw it to him. Stopping him's the problem.
First down, Niners from their 48. And Ricky Waters falls for about 2. Boutte and Gilbert, those 2 defensive tackles, combined on the hit.
And one thing surprising to see early, Jim, is that next to last play where Jerry Rice made that long catch, the Rams let him run across the field really unchallenged. And one thing you cannot do with Jerry Rice, and people have learned it, but it seems they also forget it, is you can't let Jerry Rice run alone across a defense. If you do that, he will kill you all by himself. I mean, he can beat teams by himself. He's one of the rare receivers that can do that.
Lined up at the top of your screen, Brent Jones was wide right. On 2nd and 8, Waters from the backfield near the first down into the Rams territory at the 42. Last week, the 49ers did not have a completion to a running back for the first time since before the Bill Walsh era, pre-1979, and they hit Waters to pick up a reception to a running back on that play.
You know, that's not so much as an oversight of the running back passing game, I think, Jim, as much as, you know, the wide receivers and the tight ends were so open against that Saints defense, they didn't need to throw to a running back.
3rd and 1. Waters easily has the first as he cut back to the inside and gets to the 35. Sapolo and Tam blocking the way for Ricky Waters.
There are a lot of offensive lines in the NFL that are a lot bigger than this 49er line, but I don't think an offensive line moves better than this group, and it's something that having a running back like Ricky Waters, it's a real advantage. Ricky Waters is a running back that is a speed guy. He likes to get outside. That's a 49er forte, but he doesn't mind cutting it back inside and challenging a linebacker.
Waters was over 100 on Monday night in that trouncing of the New Orleans Saints. First and 10. Open again. This time it's Taylor. First down at the 23, a gain of 12. How about that secondary Steve Young's working against?
They're going to have a serious problem, I think, with this offense if they don't physically challenge these receivers more. You can't let John Taylor and Jerry Rice just run around in the zone. They will find the hole, and sooner or later, if you let them catch these short passes, they're going to turn a 5-yarder into a 50-yarder.
Rathman is in for the first time today in a split backfield. First down. Rathman throws a lead block for Waters, moves it inside of the 20 and down to the 17. Gilbert on the hit. We'd like to welcome those of you who've been watching Green Bay and Tampa Bay. The Packers come back with a last-minute victory and are now tied for the lead in the NFC Central. Jim Nantz and Randy Cross from Anaheim. The 49ers' first possession, and they are driving. A series that started at their own 28-yard line. Waters lined up wide to the right. Taylor in a slot right on 2nd and 5. And Young cannot avoid the sack. Taken down by Fred Stokes at the 20.
And really the key to pressuring Steve Young effectively is to get quick pressure in his face, and that's what exactly the Rams do, especially in the middle. Watch Boutte and Gilbert, the defensive tackles, push right up the middle, get the pressure, make him step up, and Stokes gets a little garbage sack coming around from the outside. As Young steps up, he flattens him, but you've got to get in Young's face quick. This is a rhythm offense, and if you can disrupt the rhythm, you've got a chance to stop.
Well, they had allowed only 3 sacks in the last 3 games, but that one sets it up 3rd and 8 for the 49ers, the 9th play of their opening drive. Young zips it, has his man Rice for a 1st and goal at the 7. 13 yards. And the second pass play to Rice on this series.
Superlatives sometimes fail when you're talking about a guy like Jerry Rice, but he can do it all. I mean, it's a cliche, but he really can. He goes inside, he makes a tough catch, he'll kill you long. I mean, there's a lot of receivers that won't go in there, but the great ones, the Risens, the Rices, the Sharps, the Irvins, they don't mind going in there and taking that hit for those yards.
1st and goal, Niners will call it from the 6. Delay give, Waters trying to get outside. Waters fighting for the end zone, and he has it. Touchdown, San Francisco. He broke away from Roman Pfeiffer, and Ricky Waters rushes for his 6th touchdown of the season.
This is an attitude play. Do you want to stop me, or do I want to score? Let's see who had the best attitude. Is it the defense or the offense? Those aren't tackles. Those are attempted tackles, and Ricky Waters was not going to be denied.
Pfeiffer and Israel each had a shot at Waters. Now Gopher with the extra point out of the Bono hold, and it's 7-0 San Francisco. They drive 72 yards on the first possession. 7-0 49ers in the first. Drive 72 yards in 10 plays. Waters scoring from 6 yards out. And you wonder now, will that break the spirit of the Rams and their young quarterback who will have to play from behind very early?
Well, there's also a definite risk in this situation, Jim, of a team on a roll, a team doing well, a team that scores easy, of letting down and allowing a big play.
Running it back from a yard deep, it's Griffin. Griffin dives across the 20. 23-yard run back. Amp Lee made the special teams tackle. The Rams will have the football for the second time when we come back, trailing 7-0.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile, Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry, and by Hewlett-Packard DeskJet and LaserJet printers.
Jim Nantz, Randy Cross back. Anaheim Stadium. Rams 1st and 10 from their 22, trailing 7-0. Rookie Jerome Bettis pounding it inside and near the 30. Good run, hard run for about 7, maybe 8. Randy, you talked about how the 49ers will shuttle in a lot of linemen on defense, but here is the base group for linebackers and the secondary. Romanowski, Walter, and John Johnson, who had a huge game the first time these two played. Griffin, Hanks, who had the touchdown Monday night. McDonald and Davis. His 49er defense, by the way, has scored 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games. 2nd and 3. Sweep. Bettis has the first down. Plows ahead to the 44. 15 yards for Jerome Bettis.
I love Jerome Bettis' attitude. I mean, he's a guy, there is absolutely no doubt that he's excited about playing football. He's a rookie, and so is 84 Troy Drayton. Look at the job he does right here. That's on Johnson. We talked about the big game he had last time, and the pile, and Mike Walter catches Johnson on his right leg, and he's down. But that was a fine block by Drayton, and Johnson was caught by the pile and not so much by Drayton's block.
Yeah, it looked like Johnson's teammate came in and with the leg planted. An awkward twist. We'll check on John Johnson in just a moment. 7-0 Niners. Well, you can see John Johnson on his feet and appears to be fine. So that's good news for the 49ers. That last play, though, what a run by Jerome Bettis for 15 yards.
You be the running back. This isn't a cutback. This is a huge hole.
First down from the 44. Bettis this time only about a yard. Bettis, the 2nd leading rookie rusher in pro football, and he trails only his Notre Dame teammate, Reggie Brooks of the Redskins. The two of them have a really good shot at gaining 1,000 yards, and that would become the first pair of rookie running backs from the same school ever to reach 1,000 yards in season 1.
I'd almost give Bettis a better chance, Jim, because I think this entire offense now spins off of Jerome Bettis. It's not a Jim Everett quarterback-based offense. It's based on the Chuck Knox grinded-out style.
2nd and 9, room for Rubley, and he runs it into San Francisco territory near the 1st. I think he's about a yard shy, but Rubley scrambling for about 8.
And that's the one part of T.J. Rubley's game that really worries George Seifert. George Seifert says, I'd rather play against a quarterback that I don't have to worry where he's at all times. And much like Steve Young can make a defense worry to a lesser degree, T.J. Rubley's got the ability to make you pay if you ignore him.
Don Griffin shaken up on that play for the 49ers.
Defensively, that's one thing San Francisco is just now getting over, and that's injuries. They had a lot of people banged up. It's a defense in the last 3 or 4 weeks that's just starting to come together, and injuries is the one thing that can set back even a team that's on a roll. Look at the Cowboys. A couple injuries, and they're a lot less of a team.
Tell you one team on a roll, the Chicago Bears, and many of you next week will see the Bears come home at last after 3 straight road wins. They'll host the Green Bay Packers. We'll look forward to doing that game, Randy. And it's a regional weekend, single header weekend, if you will, on CBS. Some will get late, the Giants at Miami or the Rams at Phoenix game. So 12:30 Eastern time, it all gets underway with Greg and Terry. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Jackie Slater is out at the moment. Daryl Ashmore in at right tackle. 3rd and 1 for the Rams, who trail 7-0. They pick up the first as Bettis burst for about 2 yards.
Jerome Bettis is a 245-pound fullback slash halfback who's just now adjusting to being a tailback, running out of the eye. This is not real complicated. You just match up your guys, your Goazes and your Ashmores and your Byrne Bostic, and you just go right up the middle. You draw a spot right off your right guard, and you go the shortest distance between point A and point B and run over whatever gets in the way.
There's Bettis with 28 yards on this series. First down, play action fake to Bettis. Now Rubley flushed out of the pocket, throws across his body, and has Bettis at the 40. There is a flag down.
That flag's down in the holding area.
Holding, number 79, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Jerry Markbright, our referee today.
You can hold a whole lot of different ways, but it's called on Goaz, the right guard, 79. Just check it out as he comes out. Watch that left hand. Yeah, well, that's not a real bad one. I always went to the school of, if you're going to get it, get your money's worth. Grab the guy, throw him down. Don't get a cheap hold.
Well, that's a killer penalty for the Rams. That knocks them back to the 46, first and 20. And almost intercepted. Michael Magruder came dashing in front of the receiver. Pat Carter almost picked it off.
It's one of the limitations TJ Rubley and this offense have, is they don't have a big play receiver at this spot. Not at their tight end position, not at their wide receiver position. And what Magruder did, he just sat back and read the eyes of Rubley the whole way. Saw the ball go, and right about now Rubley sees Magruder, and he's very glad he dropped the ball. The kid's pretty unflappable. He's very intense. I mean, he describes himself as a player that was born to be a quarterback. I think he needs to lighten up a little bit and enjoy himself. He's going to be a good one.
Maybe he will by day's end. Second and 20. That pass behind Willie Anderson. And Rubley shaken up.
He was banged pretty good on that left side. He spent the better part of every pass on his backside. 49ers putting some heavy pressure on him, and they can expect that play after play after play. The rookie Troy Wilson is the one hitting him from the front, hitting from the back. That's looked like a rib shot there.
Jim Everett on the sidelines backing up Rubley. What a miserable streak he endured here in the last 4 home games. He did not produce a touchdown drive in 34 possessions.
And that's why he's got the baseball cap on his head, Jim. Baseball cap and windbreaker means bad job.
Well, the battered Rams trying to fight the 49ers today, but Jackie Slater has injured a shoulder, and he's out on this series. And all of the injuries really adding up for the Rams, including in their secondary with Bailey and Light and Pat Terrell out. Also Darrell Henley. But right now the offense faces 3rd and 20. 8th play of the drive. They need a big play here. Rubley throws on the run. Ellard has it. Ellard has the first down inside of the 30 and down at the 28. 25 yards to the veteran Henry Ellard.
Nice decision by TJ Rubley. Just about to go over the line of scrimmage. Picks up Henry Ellard right at the last second. With this isolation, you get a good idea of how open and how long Ellard's running across the field. You saw him by himself. And, much like a Jerry Rice, you can't let most receivers run by themselves, because eventually a quarterback's going to catch him. Watch, it's a run, it's a run. He hesitates just long enough to keep going over the line of scrimmage.
First down, and Bettis only a yard. John Johnson, by the way, is back in for the 49ers on defense. Bruised ribs was the report we got, but Johnson got right back in on this series. There he is. Now, Henry Ellard, in his 11th year, the all-time receiver for the Los Angeles Rams.
Had a heck of an offseason. Went to a real conditioning program. Decided to work on his sprinting and his speed, and it's something that not only helped him early in the year, but I think has really helped him now late in the season with his endurance and his conditioning. And those are the type of plays there. You have to be extremely patient. An 11-year veteran has lots of patience.
2nd and 8, play action into the line. Here's the mobility again of Rubley all the way back into Rams territory. Open field ahead, and he'll run with it. Nope, they'll fire it to the left side. Bettis has it. Bettis down to the 9-yard line. And that's the kind of excitement they have lacked in Los Angeles for a long time.
And you know George Seifert right now is saying, hey, upstairs, somebody, we've got to find a way to get on this Rubley quick. And when you get on him, you better hold him. Going to his left, he's got to come back right. Dennis Brown thinks so. What Dennis Brown doesn't see initially is Leo Goaz come back with that cut block, but Rubley had an open field in front of him. I thought it was a great job, perception-wise, of looking back and finding Bettis.
So 1st and goal to go. Gary in the game. Gary gets the handoff and moves ahead for about 3, right into that wall of defenders for the 49ers.
Well, keep in mind, Jim, coming into this game, the Los Angeles Rams had only been down in this red zone area 13 times this season. I mean, the 49ers have been down there 14 times in the last 3 weeks. So this is an offense that under T.J. Rubley has enjoyed significant success since he came into the game last week against the Washington Redskins. He has just been a spark, his mobility, and I think his leadership has made a big difference.
Theron Joseph Rubley. TJ has it 2nd and goal to go from the 8. That pass off the fingertips of rookie tight end Troy Drake.
Rubley there, it was deflected, See, he's learning already. He's a young quarterback, but when the coach looks at you like, where the heck were you throwing that? You look up the sideline and go like this, you go, hey, it was deflected, coach.
Rubley, again, a 9th rounder a year ago, and he felt that start at San Francisco could have been his only opportunity. He said he endured 14 days of misery, hadn't gotten much sleep or rest after that, but he's got a second chance now, and the Rams trail 7-0. Face 3rd and goal from the 8. That was intended for Sean LaChapelle. Coverage by Eric Davis, who was right with him.
And LaChapelle, a rookie out of UCLA, is a good example of a theory. When you get a second-string backup quarterback, sometimes his best chemistry and best timing is with a fellow scout team guy that's a 2nd or 3rd string receiver that he has the most opportunity to work with. It was a very nice job by Don Griffin of defense on that play.
26-yard field goal try. Tony Zendejas, Rubley on the hole. Right down the middle, and the Rams are on the board. On the board with 1:05 to go in the 1st quarter. Good drive all the way down to the 8. Zendejas drills it from 26 yards. Pictures overhead today provided courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Today's pilot is Joel Chamberlain from Norwood, Massachusetts. Racked up some frequent blimp miles coming all the way from Massachusetts.
Well, it's a lot better weather for a blimp than some of those AT&T tournaments you do at Pebble Beach when there's 30-mile-an-hour winds. Now things going full speed to stand still.
You really do have to fight it up there to give us the pictures of beautiful Pebble Beach. Tony Zendejas. 7-3 49ers, and that has to give Los Angeles a jolt of confidence here to be able to come back and drive at 70 yards. 25 yards officially.
You know, Jim, it sends a message to the 49ers that the Rams are not going to lay down. This is a 49er Ram game, and you can't really expect sort of the book here, but the Rams being 3-7, the 49ers being 7-3, that the 3-7 team is going to be that much inferior. There's more emotion here. It's a divisional game, and the last thing the Rams want to be is embarrassed by like the last 3 49er opponents.
That kick bounces at the 8. It's a free ball. And the 49ers Amp Lee falls on it at the 13. Who wants it? I don't want it. No, you take it.
Yeah, I mean, it just plays like that when you get into rivalry type games, and this is a rivalry type game. You know, that's when the old the needle on the dumb meter starts moving over a little far to the right when you let a ball bounce around like that on a kickoff. There's two of them staring at it. It's like, I got it, you got it, you got it. And they're looking at each other. They're both saying, you got it.
And George Seifert and the 49ers.
You can never tell if he's behind or ahead. He looks the same.
Brent Jones, and the tight end has the first down at the 37. Tackled by Anthony Newman. 22 yards to Jones.
You talk about the monster weeks the 49er offense has had the last 3 weeks. A lot of that has been due to the fact of people trying to man up on the wide receivers. That has left the middle and Brent Jones pretty much covered up, and he made the point that at times against Tampa and against New Orleans, I wanted to go out there and say, hey, safeties, cover those wide receivers. Get out of the middle of the field. Let me get a shot.
First down. Time running out of the first quarter. Young. Another wide open receiver. That's Taylor into Los Angeles territory after 17 yards. Down at the 45. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. San Francisco 7, the Los Angeles Rams 3. Well, we start the second quarter. What are they looking at here, Randy?
Well, in the old days, you had Polaroids. These things just come spinning out. They're basically, we would refer to them as Polaroids. Those of us not in the football on the field business, they're large Polaroids.
First down, Niners, and Waters dashing for about 5. Guy McIntyre with a block inside. And they're pretty well equipped here on the sidelines for the Rams. They've got a whole bank of phones and faxes and just about anything else you would expect to be able to get out here in Los Angeles.
Well, this is the city of communication. You know, every car, every bus, every trailer home, everything's got a cellular in it. So
the phones are on the table over there. We'll be showing you those later on. Second down and 4. Not just one phone. Mark Logan. About 2. It'll set up a 3rd and short situation. You know, I've seen some sidelines decked out with 1, maybe 2 phones. But the Rams, hey, they've got one for just about everybody.
But my question was, when I saw that, who is this? You know, Novak. Yeah, they got the Novak hotline. We come to find out that's the attorney. So we shan't jest about the attorney anymore.
You know what really disappoints me, though?
What's
this
that?
team? I mean, you would think by now they would have cellular phones on the sidelines.
Well, yeah.
Those are all hardline phones. Third down, 3rd and 3.
Bad cell spot.
First down. Taylor to the 25. Taylor had a big afternoon against the Rams at Candlestick. Caught 6 passes, 1 for a touchdown. And that one went for 13 yards and a first. By the way, as you peruse through the scores, you know what's interesting? It's been pointed out to us here by Jim Stamos. The first 8 NFL finals of Week 13, no one has reached 20 points.
Did you see the weather conditions from the Mississippi East?
Yeah, but you know, you can include Chicago and Detroit, the Dallas game. Terrible weather conditions on Thursday.
Yeah, but they're in the Central Division.
First down, Young. Gilbert giving chase, and he just throws it away to avoid the sack.
Got a flag down on the field. I think it's going to be a illegal receiver downfield. I believe Ralph Tam was down past the line of scrimmage when Steve Young threw that ball away.
Young had completed his last 7 passes before that one.
That's what it is. It is illegal receiver downfield. You know, it's funny. This is a right-handed world, so it always looks funny when you see a quarterback run to his right and throw awkwardly. Well, going to your right, you ought to be able to throw well. And you forget there are left-handed quarterbacks in this world.
I'm going to look for that.
I never thought about that until now.
Rubley ran left and had to go all the way around the other way to throw right.
Ineligible man downfield on the pass. Number 64, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, Ralph Tamm's an offensive lineman. You know, was with the Browns, was with the Redskins, and Ralph's a good example of a player fitting a system. Football's a system sport. He bounced around with several teams, and this type of an offense is perfectly suited for him. He can move. He's mobile. He's got pretty good speed. I guess average for a lineman, but he's extremely intelligent and he's extremely tough. He's a guy, he will fight in a heartbeat, and Bob McKittrick, the line coach, loves that.
First and 15. Flag down as Young throws incomplete to Nate Singleton.
We're going to get a holding penalty here on Steve Wallace. Don't you just love it? A little illegal use of hands. It'll be a hands in the face, probably the left hand giving the old nasal passage massage.
Hey, you know what? If you don't like it, go to your sideline and call your lawyer. You know, maybe
Offense.
Well, the 49ers got that council hotline on their side. But here we'll take a look at Steve Wallace. Watch 74, the left tackle. He's lucky they didn't call him for lining up in the backfield the way he was in his stance there. Got that hand up in the face of Gerald Robinson, and that's exactly what Jerry Markbright called. I just love seeing these guys. I mean, I used to do it too, but the lineman, you can pick out who's guilty in a second because he's the one complaining.
First and 25 now, back at the 40. Young in the pocket and falls for a 1-yard gain, so that is not an official sack. Tony Woods on the tackle. Hey, this Rams front four will put some pressure on you. They don't even have Robert Young the rest of the way this season.
And that's what they really need to do against San Francisco. They need to disrupt Steve Young's timing. That will get them in this game and give their offense an opportunity to move the ball. They can't open up the inside for the run, and if they're not rushing Steve Young, that means he's on rhythm. And if he's on rhythm, their defensive backfield can't match up to the 49er talent on the outside.
Don J. Beach has come in as the third receiver for the 49ers on 2nd and 24. Going long, man open. It's Jerry Rice, and he tiptoes in for a touchdown.
You want a good example of why you have to disrupt Steve Young's timing? You want a good example of why they don't have the talent to match up there? Little discussion as to whether or not that really was a touchdown.
Well, we saw one signal. It was a delayed signal.
But I tell you, it was a mismatch. Jerry Rice actually had to wait for that pass.
Jerry Rice says, hey, don't deny me. I'm moving in on Jim Brown's all-time record.
Oh, yeah. It looks like Jerry Rice needs another touchdown, but he's well behind Wyman Henderson here. Steve Young's ball is a little bit behind him. Does he score?
Got the left foot in.
Yeah, he's over the pylon there, and the pylon is part of the goal line. You break that plane at 6.
Career touchdown number 121. Topher, high snap, but Bono got it down, and the 49ers now lead 14-3.
Jerry Rice, 121 touchdowns. Amazing fits it.
This game summary is sponsored by McDonald's.
Well, Jerry Rice is in the end zone again, this time from 39 yards out. Steve Young has completed his last 8. He had thrown an incompletion, but it did not count because of a penalty on the play. Rubley, 3 out of 8, drove the Rams to a field goal late in the first quarter, but 14-3 49ers.
And you know, we saw that graphic, Jim, going to commercial. Jerry Rice crawling, creeping up on Jim Brown. If defenses continue to man him like they did on that last play, he will catch Jim Brown by next Sunday night when they play Cincinnati. By the time that game's over, he'll be the record holder if the Rams and the Bengals insist on manning the greatest receiver in the history of the game.
Howard Griffith wisely downs it. Now let's take a look now at Jerry Rice one more time and where he stands on the all-time touchdown list.
And he's a wide receiver, gets them in bunches. He doesn't get just one touchdown, it seems. He gets 2, 3, 4. He's 5 behind Jim Brown right now, and It sounds like joking or kidding that he's 5 behind and could do it in 2 games, but that's a receiver you cannot afford to man on a regular basis. You give him man coverage, you'll help him get the record early.
First down for the Rams. And Jerome Bettis falls to the 25. It's update time on the Giants and the Cardinals. Back to you, Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, little offense for the New York Giants. Phil Simms to Rodney Hampton out of the backfield. This will result in a 62-yard play and set up a David Treadwell 22-yard field goal. Giants need a win to retain sole possession of first place in the NFC East, but they trail the Cardinals 10-3 second quarter, Jim.
All right, Steve Berline with a touchdown toss in that game to Butch Roll, and they're coming off a bye week, desperately needing a win for Coach Joe Bugle.
Exactly, Jim. I was going to make the point that they need that win to stay in first place, but more importantly for Phoenix, Joe Bugle needs that win to keep his job. As you take a look there, Kevin Fagan, a defensive end with a history of knee problems, down on the field being examined by the team orthopedic surgeon.
Kevin Fagan hobbled to the sideline for the 49ers. What did it look like to you, Randy?
He got bent backwards into a pile, which anything could happen, but Kevin is a player all the way back from college. His last game of his senior year, he blew out a knee. He's had a history in pro football of having knee problems.
On 2nd and 5, no gain for Bettis. Artie Smith brought him down. Fagan injured his right knee and right shoulder in the season opener against the Steelers, and then was out of action for 4 games. And that's now the 3rd 49er defender to get banged up here in the first half. John Johnson has returned.
As a defense too, Jim, it's been very effective lately, but they are extremely thin talent-wise. Got plenty of numbers, but talent-wise, they are thin. That's why they play so many guys up front.
3rd and 5. And dropped by Drayton. That would have given the Rams a first down. By the way, Don Griffin is back in also for the 49ers. He was shaken up earlier in this half, but that was one Drayton should have had that would have moved the chains for the Rams.
That's an example there, Jim, of a pass that's thrown timing-wise from the quarterback. That ball is thrown as Drayton is or just before he's breaking out of his break, and he just didn't expect the ball. You look at Sean Landeta, that last punt of his hung up there forever. I think the biggest crime he had in New York wasn't being a bad kicker. He just wasn't an ex-Bronco kicker.
Yeah, you got to have some Bronco lineage there to play for Coach Reeves on the special teams. And Landeta this time takes Carter back to the 25, reversing the field. And it looked like a somewhat suspect block.
Oh, it's got to be a block. That was a blatant push in the back. It's okay when you do it in secret kind of a thing, but in front of a better part of the country and 69,000 people, you are not going to get away with it.
52-yard punt, no return. Well, Kevin Fagan being transported to the 49ers locker room. 49ers will start this series from the 23. That was not a penalty on that play.
Yeah, you're gonna believe me or your lying eyes. That was a penalty. They just didn't call it.
San Francisco with a 14-3 lead, 10:20 remaining in the first half. Young now, complete again. This time Rathman for about 9. Young with a streak now of passes without an interception. 182 attempts. That's a 49er record, already well past the Montana mark that was in the 140s. And Young has not thrown a pick since October the 3rd in the first quarter against Minnesota when he hit Carlos Jenkins of the Vikings right in the chest. He said, at that point, I've got to focus more. Has not thrown an interception since that time.
And you heard a lot less about that cracked bone in his thumb too since that time.
2nd and 1. And that's near the first for Ricky Waters. Henry Rolling met him near the line of scrimmage. They may have to measure for this one.
Jimmy, talk about offensive efficiency. You know, the Rams, off their last few series, are averaging 2 yards a carry, or 2 yards on first down. The 49ers 7.9, not counting the 9 yards they got on the last first down. So that's an area where the Rams have got to improve against this 49er team. They've got to pressure Steve Young on first down. They can't just pressure him on third, obvious situations when he's passing.
Well, Young will get a chance to operate again on first down. When you met with the 49ers yesterday, how much did they talk about the home field advantage in the playoffs?
You know, that's having been in the situation with this team, it even kind of shocked me that at this point of the season, playing your 11th game, that you're talking about home field advantage and the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. But, you know, if it works, it works. I'd be careful if I was San Francisco.
First down play, and another one that picks up good yardage. As Mark Logan racing to the 40 in a run of about 7. Ralph Tam threw a good block, clear out that left side.
A good example, we talked earlier about the abilities of Ralph Tam and how he couldn't make it a couple different places, but he did make it here in San Francisco, and that's one of the reasons. Ralph Tam, unlike so many other offensive linemen in the NFL, is very mobile, can pull, and he and Harris Barton coming from the backside do a nice job getting out there in front of Logan.
2nd and 3. That's the first down. Jamie Williams near midfield.
Yeah, Jim, when you look at this offense of the 49ers, when they're in this type of a zone or a phase, used to refer to it when Joe Montana was with San Francisco that the offense was being moved down the field surgically. Well, you don't need Joe Montana at quarterback. Steve Young can do the exact same thing, because right now he is surgically moving this ball down the field.
Tam still celebrating his touchdown from against Tampa a couple of weeks ago. First down. Waters, they have it for a loss. And he'll turn it into a positive play for about 2.
Last week against the New Orleans Saints on Monday night, Ricky Waters was trapped in the backfield for a 3-yard loss and turned that into about a 40-yard gain. One thing the Rams as a defense are not doing right now on the outsides is wrapping up and tackling efficiently. I mean, that's not a little guy, that's Gilbert. I mean, that's their inside horse. That's their man inside. He should be able to grab a guy that only weighs about 210 pounds and just sort of snuff him down to the ground.
Instead, a 3-yard carry.
He's only got about 100 pounds on the guy.
2nd down and 7. Great drop back, pressure applied. Waters can't hold on, interception. Interception for Henry Rowan. His first of the season.
And a good job by the Rams of pressuring Steve Young. They were all over Steve Young, and he sort of flung that one out there hoping that things would get there all right and that it would get there on time. But it was a nice job, right, of a man coverage job by Rolling. He is all over the coverage here. Top of the screen. See that ball tip? That ball is just floating initially. Ricky Waters.
Steve Young's interception streak now, or pass attempt without interception, is over. There's a pass too steep for Pat Carter. Rubley threw it in there too high. Young's streak ends at 183. Again, his first interception since October the 3rd. That was the 184th attempt. And actually, Ricky Waters had his hands on it. Rolling with the first interception of his career. To go, second quarter. 2nd and 10. Here's the sweep. Bettis has worked once already. Bettis this time for about 4. Hardy Smith and John Johnson gave him the old double whammy at the 42.
And T.J. Rubley should have no problem here maintaining his patience. And this is a situation for a young quarterback where the temptation is to try to make something big happen, to try to get some quick points and really to jack your team back up into this game. They're down 14-3. He's got 6.5 minutes to go. Be patient. Take what this 49er defense is going to give you, and it means running the ball down the field. Run the ball down the field.
3rd down and 5. Rubley on the run. Nowhere to hide. Back at the 48. Martin Harrison with his 6th sack of the season.
I don't know if you'd call that a coverage sack, because on a coverage sack, the quarterback sits back there and looks and looks and looks and is finally sacked. What T.J. Rubley's looking at right now are jerseys, red jerseys, and they're coming after him. There's the rookie again, Troy Wilson, out of Pittsburgh State, getting in there first, and Harrison picks up a little garbage.
Unable to take advantage of the rolling interception. Lanzetta with another boomer, but he hit it too strong into the end zone. That, by the way, was not the first career interception for Rolling, but the first of the season. And now the 49ers will start from their 20, still leading 14-3 in the second. (14-3) Niners. Waters on a 6-yard run. Rice on a 39-yard touchdown catch. Disneyland nearby. Home field advantage you spoke of a moment ago.
The records are important, Jim, but the right side's very important also. You know, you got your teams you're playing, you're looking down the road at teams that aren't winning very many games. You got to smile a little bit if you're the 49ers.
First down from the 20. Rice. Whoa. Took a pretty good pop, didn't he, at the 31. Mark Boutte came back to make the play.
Well, there's a good example, Jim. We're always talking about receivers willing to go inside. I mean, you can become a speed bump pretty quick, but, you know, that was all set up by the offensive line of the 49ers, giving Steve Young plenty of time, giving him that lane down the middle of the field to throw it in. Now, there's something to be said for wide receivers paying attention to defensive linemen like Mark Boutte running 20 yards downfield to make a tackle. That tells you something about efficiency.
Some said that the Rams were 100-to-1 shot today. Dexter Carter in the backfield. Young plants his feet, now fires, incomplete. Looking for Logan. Henry Rolling defending.
Now, on the last play, we talked about the lane that Young was throwing through and the excellent protection. Watch the Rams disrupt the timing of Steve Young on this play. They get penetration, quick inside by Tony Woods, and that penetration, along with Stokes coming from the other side, totally disrupts the timing and the rhythm of that play. Right now, the 49ers, they're making plays, they're making things happen, but you almost get a certain feel of going through the motions at times against this defense right now. It's like, oh, gee, we'll wait. Something will happen. Someone will make a play.
They usually do. Second down 10. Straight ahead for 4, Ricky Waters.
That's a real danger you can get into, though, Jim, when you're playing an underdog team. You can run into some serious problems, assuming other guys on your team will make plays. That can really be a problem for most teams, especially teams that have had some success.
Waters had a streak of 5 games without reaching 100 yards, and he topped the century mark Monday night against New Orleans, 116 yards. Currently 4th in the league in rushing behind Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, and Eric Pegram. 3rd and 7 with pressure. Just to get rid of it, Brent Jones with a diving grab, and that's near the first. What a catch. Gerald Robinson was in on Young, but how about the hands for the tight end from Santa Clara?
Well, you can game plan for the fact that we're going to put pressure on Steve Young. We're going to get in his face, and we're going to disrupt his timing. What you can't game plan for is a tight end like Brent Jones making this sort of a wide receiver catch. You can count all the tight ends in the NFL that could make that check, that right there, on less than one hand. I mean, you'd probably say, I would put Brent Jones, Jay Novacek, and then the list gets kind of short after Jay Novacek, I think, tight ends wise. There might be a few other guys, but that's a very athletic move by Brent Jones.
Well, this is a close measurement, and they got the first down.
Jerry gives that emphatic first down.
Yeah, got it by a chain link. And that was a 3rd down play, so the 49ers will keep it with 3:47 remaining in the half. 49ers 4 for 4 on 3rd down conversions.
And the dominance continues on first down. And on this first down, the key for the Rams defense, keep pressuring Steve Young. If you pressure him, you get him out of the pocket, you break the rhythm, you may force another turnover.
They send Waters out in motion on first down. Logan. Out to the 44, Fred Stokes, Steve Israel combine on the tackle.
A lot of people assume when Tom Rathman came back from his injury that Logan would be out at fullback, but I really think Logan gives him a couple extra added dimensions. He gives him the speed out of the fullback position that Tom Rathman doesn't have the speed of a Mark Logan. He can almost block as well as Rathman, though Tom Rathman, known to most other players and friends as Woody can block with the best. He can block with Hayward, he can block with Johnston, but Logan just has more speed.
Woody came back last week after missing 8 games due to injury. 2nd and 6. And Waters stretching forward, trying to reach the 50. It'll be a 3rd and short situation for the 49ers.
You talk about the enthusiasm of Ricky Waters and the fact that he does get so fired up, and it's been mentioned often, that is the situation where your enthusiasm and your want to can get in the way of being successful. A running back can fumble when you're fighting for that extra couple of inches. You saw him hold his fingers up like this far. You fight for that far, you drop the ball.
It's 3rd and 1. On the keep. Young slides. I believe he has it.
He got it, but he didn't get it by much because they marked that slide from where he first lands when he slides.
And we've reached the 2-minute warning. San Francisco driving again and leading 14-3. Well, one of the world's most enduring corporate symbols, the Goodyear blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Goodyear blimps have been flying over major sporting events since 1925.
Who names those things?
Would you like to get in on that?
Well, yeah, just that's an ugly eagle. I got to tell you, I've never seen too many eagles that kind of shape.
Any ideas?
Well, once you get past Bullet and Blob and things like that, I guess you got to be flattering because it does fly. But
we'll get you in touch with the right guy this week.
All right.
Coming up at halftime, back to New York, Greg and Terry with scores and highlights, updating you on all the action here, week 13 of the season. 7th play of this series for the 49ers. 1st and 10 from the 49 of the Rams. Open is Waters. Makes the move to break free. Waters inside the 10 and in for the touchdown.
See why so many defenses worry about this offense, Jim. You worry about Jerry Rice, you worry about John Taylor. Brent Jones is making those big catches. They didn't throw a ball or didn't complete a pass to a running back last week, but one play like that makes up for no passes last week to Ricky Waters. He's a guy that can take any play the distance.
Waters' 2nd touchdown of the game, 48 yards officially. You said they wait for someone to make something happen, and it's Ricky Waters. The 49ers now open up a 21-3 lead. Ricky Waters' 2nd touchdown of the game today, and what has to be the lowest scoring weekend of the season in the NFL, and maybe in recent history. The 49ers become the first team to reach 20 points. 8 finals in already, and no one in the late set of games having accumulated 21 or 20 so far.
And that was basically a very simple play by the 49ers, designed with Ricky Waters just to circle out of the backfield and anticipating some form of a man coverage from a linebacker. And in that case, it was Shane Conlon trying to cover Ricky Waters, and just too much speed for Conlon there. Ricky Waters just pulls away, and Steve Young finds him.
Well, when scoring 21 plus points, 21 or more, 52-2.
Almost as sure a bet that the shopping malls will be crowded the day after Thanksgiving.
Another touchback for Kofer.
Let's take a look at that touchdown by Ricky Waters. Watch him circle out of the backfield this way, and watch Conlon trying to cover him. A play designed more for first downs than for big plays. Ricky Waters, you see the linebacker suddenly cross over. You get a defender to turn his hip sideways and cross over. You've got him beaten. And Shane Conlon can't make the tackle, and neither can Stewart before he gets in.
1:50 remaining in the half. Rubley to Eller. Good for a first. 11-yard gain.
Plenty of time here for Rubley. No reason to hurry, no reason to press.
They run it with Cleveland Gary. And the Rams have used their second timeout. They have one remaining. No, they didn't take it. We saw a signal, but I guess they backed off of it. All right, 1:12 remaining. Clock running. 2nd and 6 and thrown away.
And we're going to have a penalty, a late hit on Troy Wilson against Rubley. Going to be a personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Wilson, a rookie from Pittsburgh State. And if that sounds familiar, that's because there's another rookie starring in the league this year, running back Ron Moore.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, loss of down.
They called that
Third
on
down.
Rubley.
Oh, okay.
They called that grounding? I didn't know you could still ground in this league. They designed that rule. If you stayed inside the tackles, they could call you for grounding, but I haven't seen that play called 3 times all year long. I'm really shocked that Jerry Markwright is calling Rubley for this. He's got nowhere to go. It's not what you'd call an imminent sack. I don't like that. But especially in this situation, I mean, last 2 minutes, trying to make things happen, trying to stop the clock.
There was a Ram receiver in the area, albeit well overthrown, but there was a receiver in the area. Now 3rd and 17, and they're going to have to give the football back. The Niners will burn a timeout. So the 49ers have 2 remaining. Timeout on the field. Kind of bizarre. The Rams offense seemingly on and off the field quicker in 3 plays than any team in the league. And, you know, there was a moment in that series after the run by Gary where we heard players calling for a timeout, saw a signal, and they did not get it. They went ahead and ran a play and ended up getting called for the intentional grounding.
You think maybe they wish they'd have called that timeout? I mean, they had 2 timeouts left. Now they're out of "we're just kiddings." You only get 1 "I'm just kidding," and now they're out of "I'm just kidding" as far as calling timeouts, because they definitely called timeouts.
5 drives today for the Rams. 4 of them have been 3 downs and a punt. That's Dexter Carter from the 30. Oh, smacked at the 44. 45-yard punt with a 14-yard run back. Thomas Homko on the hit.
49 seconds and 2 timeouts for Steve Young with the weapons he has at his disposal is plenty of time. If I'm a defensive coach right now, or I'm a defensive player, I don't care if I have to get on that attorney hotline on the Rams sideline. I find some extra bodies, and I make sure these receivers, the wide receivers, don't hurt me in this situation.
So there's your timeout reset. Each team with 2. 49 seconds for the 49ers. Crawling to get out of bounds. Lyman Henderson on the coverage. That's an 18-yard gain, and they stop the clock out of bounds at the 38-yard line of Los Angeles.
You know, most teams in this situation would be thinking field goal. Let's set up our kicker. In this case, Mike Kofor. Kofor's a strong-legged, though erratic kicker for the 49ers. The 49ers aren't thinking field goal here. I can guarantee you that. They are thinking 6 points. They're going for the throw. They're going for the touchdown.
Going for that 40-point mark again. They've done it 3 straight weeks. But look out. Fred Stokes with the sack.
And the opposite, or the flip side of the rhythm offense being disrupted. Before, it was the pass rush disrupting the rhythm. This time, it's the coverage disrupting the rhythm.
Timeout called by the 49ers as we watch Stokes get his second sack of the day.
See, Steve Young's looking. Now he's got no more time. He can't go downfield. Stokes effectively coming around on what's called a TX game. That's a tackle first and comes around inside. And the offensive line of the 49ers couldn't pick up that stunt.
Stokes did not get to play in the first game against the 49ers. One of the most bizarre days for any NFL player this season. His wife went into labor on the morning of the game while the team was up in the San Francisco area. And Stokes went to Coach Knox, asked for permission to fly home to be there for the birth. He flew to Orange County. The doctors said that it might not be until later in the night, so he chartered a jet for $3,300, flew back to San Francisco, and did not arrive until late in the fourth quarter. Later that night, son Landon arrived.
So it was all money well spent then.
There's Waters at the 40, slicing to the far side and gets out of bounds to save a timeout.
I don't know what they needed more in that situation, the yards or saving the timeout, Jim. I mean, they have 2 timeouts left. And Ricky Waters had an opportunity to get well past the 40-yard line and effectively put him in kind of wishing field goal range for Mike Hofer.
49ers have 1 timeout remaining. 28 seconds to go here in the half. Leading 21-3. Third, and call it 14. Rathman bumped out of bounds. It'll set up a long field goal try for Kofer because they are 6 yards shy of the first. It'll be a 50-plus yard field goal try for Kofer.
Well, Mike Hofer has plenty of leg to kick this length of a field goal. I mean, much like Zendejas and, he of the long streak of consecutive 50-yarders, Mike Hofer has got the leg to kick this far. His problem comes when he sort of over kicks. He's a guy that tends to hook and sort of pull, much like a golfer would, sort of pull across and hook a ball, especially on the long ones.
Hofer, long to 46 this season. This is a 51-yard try. Not a chance. Long enough, but left all the way. 15 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Well, join CBS Sports Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern, for Olympic Winterfest. Countdown to Lillehammer, featuring a hockey shootout between the United States and Russia. Plus a luge report from Norway, the Lillehammer Cup event. That'll be followed by 3:45 Eastern Time, NCAA basketball action. Kentucky Wildcats take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Billy Packer and I will be live at the Hoosier Dome Saturday here on CBS. As the Rams down it to run out the clock in the first half.
Jim, you think Bobby Knight's going to have those Hoosiers a little fired up after losing to Butler?
I guarantee they'll be competitive next week.
Knight say he owns them now?
He owns them now. He actually relishes that kind of situation. Not saying he wanted to lose, but now the kids know better. That's the end of the first half with the score. San Francisco 21 and the Rams 3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Jeep and Eagle, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. Black & Decker, the source of powerful gift ideas. UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. The NFL Today Dockers halftime report is sponsored by new Loose Fit Dockers. Nobody does pants like Dockers.
Those of you who have been watching the Rams and the 49ers, welcome back to our studios. Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. Talk about a tale of 2 quarterbacks in complete opposites, Steve Young and T.J. Rubley today.
Steve Young got it going again, over 256 yards passing the football in the first half. Had a couple of sacks, got an interception, and Rubley on the head hasn't really got the things going. We thought he might move out of the pocket by design, but in the first half, Greg, he's moved out of the pocket really just to save his life.
We thought he would.
Me. I went out and said he would move around.
21-3, 49ers lead it at halftime. They have just gone to the half at Giants Stadium, where the Giants are trailing the Phoenix Cardinals by a score of 10-6. This is Steve Berline with the play action.
Good play action, third down. They've been running the ball extremely well. Roll in the back of the end zone for the TD.
Cardinal defense not making it fun at all for Phil Simms. The Giants at one point just 4 yards rushing in the first half. 10-6, Phoenix leads it as they fight for Joe Bugle's job. Other games in progress at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. They're at halftime with the Chiefs leading the Bills by a score of 10-7. Montana has thrown an 18-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Allen in that game. And in Seattle, the Denver Broncos lead Seattle 7-0 in the second quarter on a John Elway 50-yard touchdown pass to Shannon Sharp. We'll have the early action for you coming up after this word from your local station. Greg Gumbel, Terry Bradshaw back with the action from earlier today at Minnesota. Wade Wilson throwing over the middle, hits the official right on the shoulder, and Audrey McMillan says thanks very much for the interception. After a Viking touchdown put Minnesota up 14-7, here's the kickoff, Terry.
And Greg, it's a long one. It's 99 yards. Longest kickoff this year in the National Football League. Tyrone Hughes, beautiful job. Up to the right, down the middle, turns on the speed all the way.
14-14 tie. It was 17-14 when Fuad Reves went for the game-tying 42-yard field goal, but problem with the holding problem here.
Number 53 is Fred Strickland. Watch his right hand as he takes his left and out. Right one, nice job of holding.
It was called back. Fuad Reves tried a 52-yarder. It didn't work. Welcome back to Minnesota, Wade Wilson.
It was a special win because I played long here, but I think more important is in the playoff race, it was an important win for the team.
At Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Craig Erickson with the play action.
Movement right, got the free safety out of the middle, turns around, finds Courtney Hawkins right in the middle for the TD.
Bucs were leading 10-6 late in the game. Here's Brett Favre rolling to his right, tries to run it in, but watch him get nailed. He hobbled off the field with a deep thigh bruise.
Set him up, Greg. It's a setup.
He came right back. He's a tough quarterback. Came right back and went back to the play action.
Play action, you figure this, top of your screen, Sharp will come all the way across. Our famous route is the crossing route, 84 wide open in the back of the end zone. Green Bay 13, Tampa Bay 10.
They've won 6 of their last 7. In Washington, Bubby Brister, 2-yard touchdown pass to James Joseph, gives the Eagles a 17-14 win. Bubby likes the pressure.
You know, when I was in Pittsburgh in '89, we had to win 6 games in a row or something like that to make the playoffs, and we did. You know, we lost 6 in a row here before today. You never know how this dang game may turn out.
Didn't know how it was going to turn out with the bad weather at Foxborough either. Here's the big play of the game with the Jets leading 6-0.
Pass over the middle, Michael Timpson is hit by Lonnie Young, fumbles, and wouldn't you know it, Jets recover.
Bill Parcells, the loser once again. In Cincinnati, David Shula looking for his first win in 11 starts. Jeff Hostetler throwing here for Tim Brown.
It's intercepted by James Francis, and wouldn't you know it, hang on Nelly. Finally, the Bengals get a win.
They beat the Raiders and Jeff Hostetler today by a score of 16-10. And in Atlanta, Bill Belichick looking on. Bobby Hebert had the touch today.
Bobby Hebert, 2 more touchdown passes, 17 for the year. Having a great year. There it is, back of the end zone, Andre Rison. What a combination.
Haven't we said Deion Sanders can do it all?
Well, he can't throw, Greg.
Deion with the incomplete pass, but the Falcons win. NFL Today continues after this.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. Geronimo, an American legend, a new film from Columbia Pictures. Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning.
Well, the 49ers out in front 21-3. That offensive machine rolling again, over 300 yards. Total offense in the first half.
And the amazing thing to me is you see those 17 first downs. They did that on 35 plays. I mean, it's every other down you're getting a first down. It was an incredible showing by the 49er offense, but I always thought also the Rams defense wasn't doing that badly. They were pressuring Steve Young. They were getting things done, but we mentioned it seemed the offense was just sort of waiting around for somebody to make a play, and the somebodies were Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Ricky Waters, John Taylor. I mean, Brent Jones, everybody contributed the first half.
All of the usual suspects. Another big half for Steve Young. Yes, he threw one interception to end the brilliant streak, but he fired a couple of touchdown passes, 250 passing yards in that half. And here's the final touchdown of the two passes, that is, for Young. This one went to Ricky Waters across the middle.
And probably the least impressive as far as a big play passing wise, but it was a simple pass, one designed over the middle for a first down that a running back with the talent and speed of a Ricky Waters can turn into a touchdown.
So a touchdown run by Waters, and then the two scoring tosses, one to Rice, one to Waters. And it's 21-3, and San Francisco will have the football to begin the second half. Zendejas, line drive midway through the end zone. Carter will down it. And the 49ers begin from the 20.
Well, the Rams made the point yesterday that the key to us defensively stopping the 49ers is stopping the big play, and they have not stopped the big play, because that young man right there has made the little play, the medium play, the big play, and most plays.
Actually, 260 yards passing, 250 total passing yards for the 49ers when you factor in the sacks. But Young off to a huge start, and he'll come out throwing again. Dumping it to Waters for about 4. You know, the amazing thing about Steve Young now, 17 of 20 in the game with that completion, 85%. You look at his figures on the season, 69% completion average. There is a Ram player injured, Tony Woods. One thing too about Young, he has come back from a sluggish start this season, at one time ranked 16th among passers in the NFL, and now has reclaimed the #1 rating in the league, looking for his 3rd straight passing title. He's won 2 straight, which is tied for the all-time mark.
I believe after the first 6 games, the 49ers were 3-3, and Steve Young had, 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Since then, it's been unbelievable for Steve Young. He's been on a roll that's, well, gee, it's very Joe Montana-esque.
Tony Woods on the sideline, not apparently hurt too severely, I should say. And Amp Lee has come into the lineup for the 49ers. His Seminoles today finished 2nd in the coalition poll, and now will play Nebraska for the national championship.
You're talking about Steve Young, 69% completion percentage. Charlie Ward on his way to a Heisman completed 70% this year.
Bouncing around, and John Taylor shakes free. Taylor has to beat Stewart. It's a race to the end zone, and Taylor tightrope. Hold on, they give it to him. Touchdown, John Taylor. What a run. 76 yards.
And in case you may have missed any of the last 3 49er games, what you're seeing today only drives home further the point of how potent this 49er offense is. You say it time and time again, but the 49er receivers do not have to go 90 yards down the field to get a 90-yard touchdown. They can catch a 15-yard pass, and they can turn it into a big play and for 6.
Beautiful tightrope performance. That's the longest pass play of the season for San Francisco. Moving in on 400 yards total offense. We're only 1 minute into the 3rd quarter. 28-3, Niners. Think they're a little frustrated here in Anaheim?
Well, the Ram fans, they wanted to sell the team before she moves the team. Much being said about the Rams bailing out to Baltimore. People forget about the old days when Carol Rosenblum used to own the Colts and traded Robert Irsay for the Rams. That was the only reason that whole connection ever made it to Anaheim.
We're 1 minute into the 3rd quarter. Here come the Rams with Darryl Boykin.
Come on, boy, baby!
Pretty flashy run to the 32. Are the 49ers headed for another 40 40-plus point performance. Well, they've had 3 straight. The last time a team scored at least 40 points in 4 consecutive games, the 1960 LA Chargers with John Hadel and Lance Allworth.
Sid Gilman doing stuff that people are still copying now. 33 years later, you're still seeing Sid Gilman's offensive innovations.
Ball start, number 77, offense. There was no snap, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I always love that when they say that, Jim. When they did snap the ball. I'm sorry, Jerry, there was a snap. You're just not allowing that snap.
You know, I'm not sure, when given a second thought here, that Hadel was the quarterback that first year for the Chargers.
I believe the
Jack Kemp, maybe?
Yeah.
First and 15. There's Lester from the backfield and tackled by Griffin.
The last 3 or 4 possessions have really glaringly brought out a weakness in the LA Rams offense, and that's not so much the fault of a TJ Rubley, a young, inexperienced quarterback. I don't think TJ has the wherewithal, has the assets at his disposal to get the ball down the field. I mean, he's throwing to running back, he's throwing to running backs, he's throwing to tight ends. He should be able to get the ball to his wide receivers. I mean, they've gotten to the point now where they've got Troy Drayton, the tight end, split to the bottom of the screen.
2nd and 9. Like a quarterback draw. Now Ruble doesn't know what to do with it. He runs into Romanowski after a 1-yard gain.
That was a good way to get Jim Everett back in a game after he's been benched, is to run a few quarterback draws. And yeah, that's one of those things where even Everett can't watch that play. He's got his back turned on the field. That's a better thee than me call.
Well, he's actually shielding the place. The poor guy, though. He can't get a break. Oh, my. 3rd and 9. Rubley bucks under the pressure. Now on the run, open man. Anderson drops it. That's the 4th drop today by the Rams.
And when he gets the ball to a receiver, he goes to the sideline and talks to Ted Tollner, his quarterback coach, and says, "What else do I have to do, coach? I scramble, I avoid pressure, I get the ball there." And, well, one guy out of 2 does his job.
That's enough to give Rubley a little bit of indigestion after that halftime sandwich that he insists on having.
Turkey on wheat, you know.
Turkey and mayo. He's the only player in the league that eats a sandwich at halftime. Spiraling boot by Landetta. And here's Carter from the 18. Carter plows ahead for a 19-yard run back after a 49-yard punt. Henry Ellert's asked him about that sandwich baby too. I don't know.
They talk about indigestion, a lot more fizz than plop.
San Francisco 28-3. Steve Young has thrown 3 touchdowns in this game and 340 yards passing. Might be seeing Steve Bono here shortly.
George Seifert made the comment about that Monday night game. Says, heck, we got the 28-0. I started thinking about, I hope nobody gets hurt. We got more games to play.
Young adds to his totals as he completes the pass to Taylor for 11.
When you've got a quarterback throwing this way, John Taylor, Jerry Rice, Brent Jones, they're going to be battling over who gets the ball thrown to them. I mean, guys will be just in that lobby, in that huddle lobbying for the ball, because they know when Steve Young's got this kind of a roll going, he's going to get the ball in the smallest crack, the smallest opening.
John Taylor with a 76-yard touchdown catch and run in this quarter.
This is a 3-step drop.
Movement on the right side with Barton. That'll back him up 5 and maybe give Young a chance to pad his stats even more.
Well, they had a drive earlier in the game. They went 85 yards for a touchdown and had a 15-yard penalty.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, First down.
You're right. In the book, that was 100 yards total offense on that drive.
On that one drive.
Distribution today, wide receivers over 200. Taylor has 150 yards on 6 receptions.
Yeah, and the Rams have done what the last 3 opponents also did to the 49ers. They're manning up in situations. John Taylor and Jerry Rice. Not a good move.
First and 15, Young into Gilbert and Stokes. And Shane Conlon finishes them off, so a loss on the play. The other thing about Steve Young, this is his 28th straight start at quarterback, and that's the longest streak now alive in the NFL. That really says something, doesn't it?
Tells you a lot about the league, the state of the game. Yeah. Everybody's gone to the defensive style. It used to be bend but don't break. Most coordinators now have gone to the old theory of, you know, get the head and the body dies. They're all going after the quarterbacks to stop the offense.
They'll give Waters no gain on that play. Second and 15. Long ball again. Rice with a one-handed stab. Rice is out of bounds at the 7. Add to the highlight film. The personal highlight reel, that is, of Jerry Rice, 48 yards.
Look at Steve Young. He's begging. But he stepped out of bounds. He's making his call. That's a signal to his receivers.
Wow.
Look at Jerry Rice.
How good is that?
Am I the only one that thinks that maybe is now a good time not to man him up anymore? You think maybe you want to take man coverage and let Wyman Henderson get a little bit of help with Jerry Rice? I mean, he did his job. You talked about a quarterback being on a roll. He threw the ball out there where only a Jerry Rice could get that big oversized glove of his on it.
First and goal from the 7. Waters for 1 yard.
Once again, another good example of a quarterback on a roll and a wide receiver. You want to have at least one defender on. Why there aren't a couple of guys somewhere within 5 yards of Jerry Rice, I don't know. You got to find a way to roll your safety a lot closer than that.
Did you see him step out? I'm not sure.
Not out, not out, not out. Right there.
Close, yeah.
Right foot out. Good time for a fade up high for a receiver.
Second and goal. Young will head for the end zone. Nope. He'll run right down the line of scrimmage for no gain. Young, by the way, with that pass play, now totaling 400 yards passing. Second time in his career he's reached 400 yards. And one thing about Jerry Rice, that reception for Rice for 48 yards put him over 1,000 receiving yards on the season for an all-time NFL record, 8 straight season with that play.
You don't appreciate it. If you watch NFL football over the last 9 to 10 years and watch Jerry Rice, you've received a treat not many people have, because you won't see another like Jerry Rice for many, many years.
Records and streaks abound today. Rice in the backfield on 3rd and goal, but they go instead. Sanjay Beach, and he's shy of the touchdown.
Nice play by Wyman Henderson. He made the tackle on Sanjay Beach, and he had him. Great pass, great catch. Watch this effort from this low level. You'll see the pass, and watch the job Henderson does right here. Tackle and deny.
And Beach trying to cross the plane. The 49ers will go for the kill here on 4th and goal from inside of the 1. They brought Rathman in. Rathman and Waters split backfield.
Smart decision by the Rams. Darrell Boykin was running in at the last second against a quarterback who can adjust like Steve Young. The last thing you want is confusion down on the goal line on a 4th down play.
So the Rams call the timeout. Young, who has completed his last 10 attempts, over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. It seems like every play for the 49ers you come up with with either a new record or a new streak being extended.
And the amazing thing is, unlike Monday night where they could do no wrong, there have been some plays today where George Seifert's offense has looked less than sterling. They've made some mistakes. They've had an interception to break a streak by Steve Young, but it just seems they have so much talent that you cannot hold them down. Somebody's going to come up and make a play. It speaks to the talent of the 49ers, it speaks to the injuries of the Rams, and it speaks to the lack of talent of the Rams.
And the acumen of their quarterback, Steve Young, who on 4th and goal, hands off, Waters met by Michael Stewart. And a bright spot for the Rams on a day where there haven't been many.
It was a nice job. And that's one way to hold the scoring down, is to run into the teeth of a defense like that is really ready for it. Stewart and that entire right side of the Rams defense. Watch the penetration involved from the outside. Jones gets a nice block. Rathman gets a whiff on Stewart. That was the critical block. That's what piled things up, and it was just so quick penetration by Stewart that Rathman was completely thrown off.
So the 49ers are denied, but they still lead 28-3. Steve Young, a little rest on the bench, 405 yards passing, and we're midway through the third quarter. You have a good news, bad news situation?
Well, the good news is you stopped, and the bad news is you got the ball on the 3-yard line. I mean, that's bad news. The 49ers could score within the next 5 plays if the Rams aren't careful.
That's Bettis diving ahead for 2 yards. No, let me ask you about that one more time.
When I say 5 plays, they don't have to have the ball.
That was one right there.
That was one. You can force turnovers defensively in this part of the field. The Rams' best thing they can do now, really, against this defense, run the ball, give your punter, Sean Landeta, some space, and try to get rid of the ball. First down's a great priority, but the last thing you want to do is dump the ball in the flat that'll be picked off.
2nd and 8. That would be one of the all-time predictions. Without possession. 2nd and 8, Bettis.
And that also isn't going to happen at this rate.
That's right. They keep running like that.
That's the kind of running game that the Rams wanted to feature from the beginning of the game to help control and defense the 49er offense, is to get Bettis and feature him running the ball, pounding the ball, and keeping the 49er offense off the field. I mean, look at it this way. Jerome Bettis is 245-pound halfback running from the I formation. As soon as he gets the ball, he's heading downhill, and downhill at 245 is a load.
First down for the Rams. Underneath the coverage to Flipper Anderson. Out to the 23. A pass play of about 8. Young's total, if you're curious, is not the highest yardage total of the season, but we're only, again, midway through the third quarter. Young with 405 yards passing, and the highest total so far at 93, Jeff Hostetler. He had 424 yards passing against San Diego. 2nd and 2. This is the 4th play, Randy, and Bettis dives out of bounds at the 35. All right, the rookie running hard, and
they are executing that sort of John Robinson USC student body right and left sweep perfectly. Watch the coverage and watch out in front as you see Lonecker getting out there in front with Lester as a lead blocker. They're doing a great job of clearing things out. I mean, maybe the Rams needed to be backed up from the very beginning to motivate their offense, because throwing the ball, they threw the ball effectively when they had to, but they've been crushing it with the run.
Here's the last chance. First down for the Rams. Rubley, long ball. Eric Davis almost picked it off, battling for it with Anderson.
And that's a ball with more air under it, I think, is a lot less exciting, because you get that ball a little higher up in the air with a Flipper Anderson, you run the chance of getting a completion. You see he's got to come back for that pass because it is thrown extremely flat. Great battle there. A little whack in the head from Davis for your troubles, Mr. Anderson. Yeah, I know. That's 5 plays.
All right, hey, but you know what? It was a bold pick. And I could actually see it when they were backed up inside of the 5.
Well, they've had a great offensive plan on this drive, running and passing effectively.
2nd and 10, and Bettis for about a yard. Well, we have another update from the Meadowlands on the Giants and the Cardinals. Back to you, Greg Gumbel.
All right, thanks very much, Jim. It's Phil Simms, 20 yards out, finds Ed McCaffrey in the end zone. Giants get their first touchdown of the afternoon and take a 13-10 lead on Phoenix in the 3rd quarter. Jim and Randy?
All right, Phoenix has let a 10-0 lead slip away. Here, the 49ers lead 28-3. Under 5 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. 3rd and 8 for Rubley and the Rams. Across the middle, battle for it. It was Pat Carter and Tim McDonald in a jump ball situation, and the Rams are forced to punt again.
You talk about the 2 New York teams today. Between them, they've only scored 19 points. I mean, you got 6-0 with the Jets beat New England.
That might be all they need.
If that's all you need, that's all you need. But that's not what you'd call offensive innovation. Contrary to popular belief, before the playoffs, there is life and offense in the NFL west of the Mississippi.
Actually, west of the San Andreas fault line. Carter from the 15, 25, and twisted down at the 29. 49-yard punt, 14-yard run back. And Steve Young will stay in the game. 28-3. Jim Nantz and Randy Cross from Anaheim. 28-3.
That's sort of what some defenses feel like at times, trying to handle the 49er offense, I think. They're adept. They've got it handled, but you can be burned.
Young has been a flamethrower today.
Well, he's 7 of 8 so far today on 1st down.
Let's see what he does this time. They'll run it. Rathman collared by Gilbert.
What a nice play. Great play by Sean Gilbert. He went right through, around, and over half the offensive line for the 49ers. Check this out. Sean Gilbert working off Ralph Tam, gets the inside on him, and Tam's got Gilbert by the left arm, and Gilbert's got Rathman over the back on the jersey with his right arm, and that shows you a little bit about how strong a guy like Gilbert is.
Give him a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11. Slant pattern. Rice going for the one-handed grab again. Pass a little bit behind him, and that adds more pressure on that play from Gilbert.
At times you can criticize the talent level of the Rams in some spots, but one of them is not defensive tackle. There's Gilbert splitting a double team by Guy McIntyre and Jesse Sapolo.
Well, that just spoiled Steve Young's average.
That's right.
He was up around 90% for the day.
Well, he was
dropped back down to 84%.
He was 11 of 11 to Rice and Taylor until that miss.
And he had completed 10 straight overall. 3rd and 11. And overthrown. What's this? 49ers, 3 plays and a punt. Their first punt of the day. Even Steve looks a little shocked at it.
We'll get a chance to see number 10, a man that has been sort of the invisible man on the 49ers the last 3 weeks where the offense has played, and that's Klaus Wilmsmeyer. Now we know they have a punter. We saw it on the roster, but at least now finally we get to see one.
Klaus hasn't had to shower after the game the last 2 weeks.
Well, he's a kicker, so you're never really quite sure if they do anyway.
From inactivity, and that goes out of bounds at the 35. 37-yard punt. Did you know the Goodyear blimp logs over 100,000 miles every year covering major sporting events?
Well, sounds like us.
Sounds like my weekend.
That's right. You wouldn't be here after that basketball game yesterday if it wasn't for an interesting, as he used to refer to him at Disneyland, an e-ticket. Oh, there you go. There's an e-ticket there. He used to call those in Disneyland the big rides, the e-tickets. There's a hanging above us. Got the Rams, got the 49ers.
Nicely decorated there with the pennants, boys. Here's Bennis. Hey, Bennis, well, he's not quite in the 100-yard area, but that's 12 yards, and I believe around 75 now for the rookie. Well, let's give him 77 on 14 attempts.
And when you see a running back running sweeps like that, doesn't it look like they're running downhill? When it's that wide open, and he just gets that 245 pounds chugging along there, it looks like he's running downhill. Maybe the field's crowned, or when you're on a roll, the field kind of tilts for you.
Trying to the other side this time. More yardage for Bennis. Look at that. What an effort. Into San Francisco territory. 12-yard run for the second straight play. Back to Greg Gumbel for an update.
All right, Jim, at the Meadowlands seesaw game. This time it swings in favor of the Cardinals. Steve Berline to Ricky Prohl, 17 yards and a touchdown, 17-13. The Cardinals lead it, third quarter. Jim?
So Ricky Prohl, who has scored a number of touchdowns this season, gets into the end zone. And first and 10 from the 41 of the 49ers. Bennis inside of the 40. How did you like the play before this?
Well, you know, the ones before looked downhill and were very well executed. There's a lot more want to in this one, because the blocking's not quite as good. You see Goaz coming around, pulling, Lester making his block, and here comes the want to. You're getting dragged down by Dennis Brown at 300 and some odd pounds. You're getting hit by Tim McDonald. You're getting hit by Bill Romanowski. But one thing you're not doing if you're Jerome Bettis is you're not going down, and he's just creeping up on 100.
Second and 8. Ruble, Stubblefield giving chase. Oh, and he shakes free. Bettis waiting for it. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Come on, go ahead, smile, TJ. That was a nice play. Good escape right there by Ruble. I mean, it's not the first time that Stubblefield and Ruble have seen each other. Ruble out of Tulsa, Stubblefield in Kansas. They played each other in college, and Ruble says he realizes how much a young Stubblefield or Ted Washington out of Louisville can dominate, but if you're a quarterback that can escape, you can make bad plays look good.
So now a third down situation. Third and 8. No time to throw. And what a loss this will be. A 20-yard setback. Todd Kelly, rookie from Tennessee, in on that sack.
Well, there was two rookies on that one. Todd Kelly eventually gets the sack, but it's Troy Wilson, the young man out of Pittsburgh State we talked about. It's the main concern of Ruble. Ruble's looking, goes to spin, and he's not going to get away from the former Tennessee Volunteer, Todd Kelly. He takes him down.
First rounder Kelly this year. That's his first NFL sack. They give him a loss of 18 on the play. Carter comes up for it at the 16, now running. Open field ahead. Oh, boy. That could have been a long run back. But Howard Griffith stopped him. May have been the last guy to get a hand on him, too. Next week, join us at 12:30 Eastern Time for the NFL Today. Many of you will see Green Bay at Chicago. Randy, I look forward to being there with you for that one. Others will see Atlanta at Houston. Boy, the Falcons are on a roll, and Jerry Glanville will go back to the House of Pain where he used to coach. Some will get their game late, including that giant audience at Miami or the Rams at Phoenix.
Well, you don't think maybe that embarrassing loss Atlanta had to Tampa, they wouldn't like that one back right now, do you?
Oh, boy. If they get that one back, they'd be over 500. Young, Rice at the 50. Steve Israel cut him under after a 13-yard pass play. another big play on first down.
Well, we made the point that you can't let Jerry Rice run by himself across the field, and you know what? The Rams didn't let Jerry Rice run by himself across the field, but on that play it didn't matter because Steve Young, the way he's throwing today, managed to find the one hole that was going to be there on that play right there. You see that gap that just briefly opened? Steve Young found it.
Final seconds of the third quarter. 49ers from the 50. That's that you saw 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. The only player ever to do that. Accomplished it today. Ricky Waters for about 2. And that's the final play of the third quarter. So that's the end of the third quarter with the score. San Francisco 28, the Los Angeles Rams 3. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, the beautiful skies of Southern California today. They're getting primed out here for a pretty special occasion here tonight, huh?
A little full eclipse. I believe it's what, 9:40 tonight? It's all over the continental United States. You'll be 9:40 Eastern time, something like that. You'll be looking at a full lunar eclipse.
Second down for the Niners on the first play of the final quarter. Jim Nantz with Randy Cross. Brent Jones about a yard shy of the first. Michael Stewart met him at the 41. Young getting very close to the best figures of the season, the 424 posted by Jeff Hostetler. And back that pass play put him over. 427, that's the top passing performance of this 93 season.
And that's by the quarterback that we mentioned before. After a slow start, now the top rated quarterback in the league, and the only quarterback will become the only quarterback if he does it to have over 100 rating 3 years in a row.
Ricky Waters for a short gain. You're talking about top-rated quarterbacks, and Steve having won the last 2 passing titles. That is a record he shares with Milt Plum, Cecil Isbell of Green Bay back in the 40s, Plum of Cleveland in the 60s. Ken Anderson won back-to-back in the 70s, late 70s, Staubach for the Cowboys. No one has ever won 3 straight passing titles, but Young on his way. Today's numbers are going to really drive up that rating. Well, Steve Young has eclipsed the passing figures of Jeff Hostetler, the highest total of the season. 427 passing yards today. And when we look at Rice's numbers.
And as good as Rice's are, John Taylor has 6 catches for 150 yards and 1 touchdown. So almost a mirror image by these 2 great wide receivers.
Fourth down, less than a yard. Rathman plows ahead, and the 49ers will move the chains. So they go for it, interestingly. 4th and a yard to go. And they keep it alive, the drive that is, at the 37 of Los Angeles. Taylor returns.
Way to get off, John! Way to get off, baby!
On another team without Jerry Rice, John Taylor would qualify as a great wide receiver. And what makes him more amazing to me is here's a guy who started as a punt returner. A guy that was a spark, a guy that was a punt returner that people thought might be a good wide receiver. I mean, who'd have guessed he was this good?
On first down, fake for Waters, pass it to Jones, down at the 23 of the Rams. 14 yards on that play. How much longer do you think we'll see the starters from San Francisco in the game?
Well, I think you're going to see Steve Young and Young, Jones, Rice, and Taylor up until the point they score another touchdown, which at the rate they're moving the ball right now, passing-wise, shouldn't be too much longer. Because Steve Young is just, you talk about being in the zone when you golf or being in the zone when you're shooting a basketball. I mean, Steve Young is deep in the zone throwing the ball.
Waters on first down to the 18. Young actually is moving in on a personal best. He's 7 yards shy of a career high. His career high, 442 yards.
I hope for Steve Young's sake, and more as a football fan than sort of as an ex-roommate, that Steve Young at some time will finally get his due, especially in the Bay Area. They'll relax and appreciate what a great quarterback they have there.
Young to Rice. He has the record. Actually, the record, he had 442 before that play. The record was 449 against Buffalo back in '92. And now he's over 450. And a first and goal situation at the 5.
2 goals for the Rams defense is to hold Steve Young under 500 yards and the 49ers under 40 points. The thing is, though, when you bring in a Steve Bono as a backup, the execution does not drop off significantly. He is a quality backup.
First and goal. Waters gets halfway there. Anthony Newman got to him first. So that last pass play, and it gave him a goal-to-go situation. Up the numbers to 455, a personal best.
Well, look at the completion percentage. It's not like he's thrown 50 passes to do it.
And it's not like he's been dinking and dunking either. He's been going long, thrown 3 touchdowns. And, well, let's see what they do here on second and goal.
385! 385!
We'll pass for one more. Flips it. And just got rid of it with the heat on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, if T.J. Rubley was grounding the ball
I knew you were going to say
on his, there wasn't a receiver close in the middle of that end zone where Steve threw that.
Well, there's a fan with a 49er jersey there in the first row. Maybe that got it.
Is this ball tipped? Is it hit? Who's there? No, it's just a wobbler. There's a guy in a striped shirt. There's a guy in a white, gold, and nope. There's nobody in a red jersey anywhere near that. So it's sort of like what you call in the military, rank has its privileges. When you're the #1 quarterback, you get those breaks.
Third and goal. Rathman's good play is whistled dead. His play will not count. So forget about the recovery.
As Jerry Markright would say, there was no snap.
Ralph Tam, Ralph smelling that end zone again. Had the fumble recovery for a touchdown against Tampa Bay. Maybe he was wanting to get an early position in there in case the ball scored at 3. I guess it did anyway, but he just left too early.
Just a half a beat, Ralph Tam getting off. All 7 penalties today for the 49ers. If you want to find a negative for the 49er offensive performance today, all 7 penalties against the 49ers have come against their offense.
That's something they're going to have to work on this week. Maybe it'd be worth an extra couple of hours of practice. Third and goal from the 7. Rice and Taylor to the left. Waters down at the bottom of your screen as the receiver. Across the middle, boy, that's easy. Jerry Rice again for the touchdown.
You almost want to put a little asterisk next to his touchdowns he's gotten the last month or so. He's a great talent. He's an unbelievable wide receiver, but you want to put the little asterisk, and the asterisk would say, facing stupid defenses. Handing him off inside to the invisible safety that was not there. Steve Young, as soon as that handoff happens, hits Jerry Rice, and that was too easy for a lot of reasons.
That looked like the kind of play you execute in the pregame warm-ups when there's no defense out there. That's the 4th touchdown pass for Young. The 2nd reception for a touchdown of the day for Rice, moving closer to Jim Brown, and they're moving closer to the 40-point mark again.
CBS sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store. Bayer Select cold and flu products, exactly what's right for exactly what's wrong. And by McDonald's, what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Griffith runs it back from the goal line and does not make it to the 20. Jerry, let's show you something. Here's the latest graphic. It shows the touchdown leaders all time.
I hope David Shula's staff in Cincinnati watches his last 4 tapes and says Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver in the history of the league. What do you say we put 2 guys on him and take our chances with the rest of them? He's telling us Bronco Hennick, the equipment man for the 49ers, he's going to have Bronco paint up yet another ball with a big 1-2-2 on it.
Rubley, good pass across the 30. Pat McGrath, our statistician, noticed that Lenny Moore has been stuck on 113 for quite a while now.
Well, I think he and Jim Brown got stuck about the same time. Yeah. There's that touchdown ball at Jerry Rice's. The next time you see that ball, it will be on the Home Shopping Network with an autograph and a 1-2-2 on it. We talk about how efficient the 49er offense is today. Their all-time record for yards gained is 598 versus Buffalo last year. Right now, 514 yards.
Timeout Rams. Well, the 49ers lead here 35-3. 3 straight games with at least 40 points. The last time a team scored 40-plus points 4 times in a row, Chargers 1960.
Hey, but you want to get impressed? Do you want to be impressed by a team that scored some points? Check out the 1919 Packers. 565 points to 12, and then get shut out in your finale versus the Beloit Professionals.
Boy, that means they'd allowed only 6 points all season. Football was tossed in the air on the sideline, and here comes down the far sideline Jerome Bettis turning it on, and that'll put the rookie over 100. Tim McDonald pushed him out of bounds.
And it's another one of those quick flip kind of student body rights by the Los Angeles Rams that take advantage of the speed, and it is the speed of the 245-pound halfback, Jerome Bettis. Watch how quickly he gets the corner from this I-back position, getting a nice block from Goaz, a better block from Tim Lester, who just hammers Merton Hanks. Troy Drayton from his wide receiver position as the tight end gets a nice block also.
Now from the 28 of San Francisco, after a 41-yard run, pass hot and caught by Anderson, bouncing around and getting down to the 16 for another first down. Broke away from Eric Davis. By the way, the run by Jerome Bettis gives him a career high. That was the longest run of his career this rookie season, 41 yards. And he now has, in the game, Bettis over 130. In fact, 132 for Bettis. 3rd game this season over 100, all of them at home. 102 versus the Saints, 113 versus the Lions. And now 132 against the Niners. Bettis trying to add to his numbers. Darts for about 2.
You talk about him running so successfully here at home. This is easily the best grass field in the National Football League. It's a very tight grass. It's an easy grass to play on. It gives real well. I mean, people like to say, gee, the AstroTurf can't be outlawed. I think that's very unrealistic. That will never happen. But as long as there's fields like this one here at Anaheim Stadium or wherever the Rams play in the future, if it's grass, they're going to be very lucky, and players love to play on it.
2nd down and 9. Rubley with Kelly coming from behind. Checks free, now throws. Touchdown! Another great play by Rubley. Scrambling play and a touchdown for the Rams. Henry Ellard in the back of the end zone.
And that's something when you draft a quarterback, you pick your guy, you can't say enough about a quarterback that can get out of trouble that his offensive line can create. You see Todd Kelly misses him. Dana Stubblefield sort of a feeble one-arm swipe at him, and this is, you can't teach the ability to escape, and you also, I don't think, can teach the ability to pick receivers out of a crowd the way Rubley did there. That was a nice job also by Henry Ellard. Never stopped, always working, found the hole, and got to where Rubley could see him.
Second touchdown of the season for Ellard. Leo Goaz is down, shaken up on that play. Rubley today, on 3 different occasions, has scrambled around, broken away from a sack, and really improvised beautifully.
I mean, that is something Rubley can do. What you have to do with this type of a quarterback is you now have to design around him. Get some speed on the outside. The Rams have no threat deep. And if you don't have a deep threat, as we've seen, the 49ers have plenty of deep threats. You don't have the deep threat, it makes your short game a lot tougher. That's what they need to get Rubley.
Goaz a bit wobbly, but at least able to walk off under his own power.
He's been the featured lead blocker on many of these sweeps that Jerome Bettis has gained the majority of his yards today. He's had a fine game so far.
So the Rams strike for their first touchdown of the game. And Zendejas for the extra point. 35-10 with 7:26 remaining in the game.
49ers don't have a they're behind or they're ahead type offense. The offense doesn't change. The only change may be in execution, but Bono is a very seasoned quarterback.
Ampley on the return. Ampley gets across the 20 and a couple of yards forward. Michael Stewart made the play. So it will be Bono, Steve Bono at quarterback.
And Bono's the type of ball player that may eventually be affected by the salary cap, pretty dramatically. He's a guy that's well worth all the money the 49ers pay him, but under the cap situation, it's going to be debatable how much you can really spend on a backup quarterback.
Ridden down by Gilbert. Steve Young will get to the locker room, and I'm sure he's really not too caught up in statistics, but eventually he'll find out that he had career-high numbers today. Someone will walk up and tell him, Steve, 26 of 32, 462. The 4 touchdowns matches a career high.
Well, I guarantee you he knows it. Most quarterbacks will say,
the yardage?
Oh, gee, really? He doesn't know the exact yardage, but when he sees those guys running down the field on a consistent basis, he knows he's had a big game.
And here's a big play to Waters. Streaking out of bounds at the 43. And Bettis, did you notice that? The old Notre Dame connection. Gave him a pat on the good play.
A lot of the faces have changed right now for the 49ers. Not only a quarterback with Bono, the center is Chris Dahlman. Bollinger's in at right guard. Harry Boatswain's in at right tackle. Left side of the line with McIntyre and Wallace remains intact.
Bono running out of room, but that pass caught out of bounds. Williams had a foot in, but one of them out of bounds as well. So incomplete.
It's a kind of a finish, a kind of a fourth quarter you play and work for as a professional athlete, is to be in this situation, just like you see Merton Hanks and Steve Young and Jerry Rice right there. Life is good when there's time left in the fourth quarter and you're kicking back and you're sitting on the bench and you know you don't have to go back in.
Second and 10, movement on the left side of the line. I think it was Wallace And that'll back up the 49ers 5 yards. 6 minutes remaining in this game.
Number 74, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, coming up tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, starring Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. That's tonight here on CBS. Second down and 15. Beach got pushed down.
Guess they're going to call that uncatchable.
The pass was uncatchable.
Yeah.
The pass was unable to be caught.
Really unable to catch it when somebody's pushed you down.
In the back. He couldn't catch it. See why? See why? You know, when you're making that one-point landing after somebody hits you in the back, you got to have. Not only have to have good hands, those are on the ground. You got to have good feet.
Sounds like the right call to me. It's uncatchable after that. 3rd and 15. And they get to the quarterback, Gerald Robinson, with the sack of Bono. 4th sack of the day for the Rams defense. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience.
Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Los Angeles Rams, and the National Football League is prohibited.
I think I'm going to let you do those the rest of the season. You passed the test. Well done. Wilmsmeyer now maybe getting a little winded as he has to jog onto the field for the second time. And a good punt. Out of bounds at the 25.
Well, like we talked at the beginning of the game, Jim, you talk about the attitude of a team. You know, are they cocky? Are they arrogant? Are they overconfident? And you talk to the 49ers, and they talk about the home field advantage. They talk about wanting to have the playoff games up to that NFC Championship game in their ballpark at Candlestick Park, and they talk about going back to the Super Bowl.
Well, remember, if it came down to a tiebreak with the Cowboys beat the 49ers head-to-head. Niners have the one-game edge on Dallas with that loss on Turkey Day for Dallas. First and 10, Rubley. Steps forward, finds a man hanging out on the sideline. It's Henry Ellers for a gain of 16.
You look at that list that was just right back up there. I mean, those teams that are involved there, some are struggling, some are pretty one-dimensional. You look at a Detroit Lions. I think, you know, not to use too many Thanksgiving Day analogies, but you take the Lions without Barry Sanders, and you can stick a fork in them. I mean, if he's not there, they're not going to win football games. Period. End of report.
Gary in. To carry and makes it to midfield, a 7-yard run. 4:45 remaining.
Big Harris Barton probably having a Pro Bowl season for the 49ers. Their right tackle, Harris Barton, number 79, is going through a tough time with his father right now. His father back home in Atlanta, but Harris, I think, is having his finest season.
2nd and 2, and Gary moves the pile for the first down. Cleveland Gary really struggled this season. He had a 1,000-yard season a year ago, but now averaging only 2.9 yards per attempt.
Well, he's a running back, I think, a la a guy I played with, Wendell Tyler. Once you get that label of being a fumbler, warranted or not, if you fumble in key situations, eventually I think it gets to you, and it got to the confidence not only of Cleveland, Gary, but it got to the confidence of those that make the decisions with the Rams.
I think Keith Loneker, number 64 there, you see. I think he moved a little early.
Well, you look at big number 64.
Number 64, offense.
Going against an old teammate from Lawrence, Kansas. Lining up against another Jayhawk, Dana Stubblefield.
Well, look at him. If he gets all that stuff going backwards, you really think he's going to stop it? I mean, once that momentum starts going, he's got about as much chance of stopping that as you do of stopping a wave on the beach.
.342 to go. First down, 15. Ruble to Flipper Anderson. Picked off by Magruder. Magruder on the run back in, directing traffic. Almost looked like a player came off the sideline.
Well, Mark Thomas, number 72. If he did, he came off the wrong sideline because it was the Rams sideline.
Did you notice that too? Yeah. We both looked at each other in amazement for a moment.
This ball hangs up there a while. I think Magruder and Flipper Anderson didn't know whether to catch it or fair catch it. Magruder wins the toss, and at a time like this, you hear the term head on a swivel. Well, there's Rubley's head's on a swivel. He's not only looking for the guy with the ball, he's looking for the guys trying to tackle him. How do you explain this to your head coach? He's lucky. He's talking to Tollner, not to Knox.
He did plenty of talking with the eyes, though, Chuck Knox. Now, can the 49ers get their 40 points? As Jamie Williams out to the 46. By the way, Magruder with a pick. He had an interception in the first game this year against the Rams. Intercepted a Rubley pass and ran it back 32 yards for a touchdown.
It's kind of a weak attempt at a bandana or sweatband Magruder's got going there. I know it's probably official 49er issue with the logo and stuff on it, but got off a little more size on that thing.
2nd and 4. And Waters only for about a yard. That was Amp Lee on the run. David Rocker on the tackle.
Got a little grill work going on the Bono model. I got a little something down the nose.
Well, that was while the Rams had possession, obviously. A little plastic surgery. Not too uncommon down this way. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's a state sport. What do you mean? Uncommon.
Sanjay Beach reaching for it. I didn't really say that.
No, you did.
I take it back.
Hey, I grew up here. I think it's great.
Well, it was directed at you.
I'm a candidate, that's for sure.
May I suggest something?
Yeah.
Well, they end up, again, failing to threaten the end zone. And that 40-point streak may come to a close.
You know, one thing, you look at Klaus Wilmsmeyer, I guess it's because he's finally on the field more than a couple times. You know, kickers get to wear their own shoes, and that kind of bothers me. All the other 49er players are in black shoes. You understand one white shoe and a black shoe on a kicker, but a punter's got 2 black shoes. Why? Is he going to kick it with the left foot, too?
Unsolved mysteries.
It just, you know, how'd they do that?
That's right. Let's get it back on the CBS show. 2-minute warning. We've reached San Francisco 35 and the Rams 10. 35-10 49ers. Next week, San Francisco will host the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you like in that one? Who do you think will be favored in that one?
Well, I was sure glad to see Shula finally got that first win.
Yeah, he did today. To his credit, in a snowstorm, beat the Raiders.
1-10, and you know, Art Shell talked all week long about worrying about Cincinnati, about going to bad weather, and you see the rest of the 49ers schedule. It's a schedule made for the home field advantage. Detroit does not have Barry Sanders. Houston's erratic.
Cleveland Gary. Well, Well, today's game has been produced by George Barris and directed by Suzanne Smith. Our associate producer is Lance Barrow, and our broadcast associate is John Coleman'sberger. Senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and the executive in charge of production is Rick Gentile. Thanks to our friends in the booth as well, Pat McGrath, Jim Stamos, and Ronnie Fisher.
But to answer your question about Cincinnati, San Francisco, Jim, that point spread is going to look like, you know, Notre Dame and Navy.
Cleveland Gary to 36. Hey, Navy gave Notre Dame fits for a half this year.
Yeah, quite a scare. They hung close for the first half, and then they thought they killed them in the second half. 49ers on the day as the clock winds down will come up short of their 598-yard effort last year against Buffalo for the record, and they have 539 total yards today against the Rams.
Rubley to Ellard. A couple of sharp passes here in the final quarter for Rubley. That one for 22 yards, and he has been anointed as the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Since the season and any really idea of making the playoffs now lost, I think that's a great idea to give the kid some time.
Well, I think he's a quality quarterback that will be good. The key for a young guy like this is to survive the team transition period, you know, to keep his confidence, to keep everything else. Hey, Jim, we saved you a seat. Yeah, why hit a man when he's down, guys? Go ahead and kick him. It's easy.
20 seconds to go. Flipper Anderson. Oh. And a couple of more throws perhaps to the end zone before this one's over. One thing that the 49ers will accomplish in this game, they'll see their 40-point streak, consecutive game streak, come to a close, but this will be the 5th straight win by at least 14 points. The last time they won 5 in a row by at least 14 was a carryover from the end of the 53 season to the start of 1954. We're talking about 40 years since they had this kind of stretch of domination. And where was the illegal grounding call that time? I think maybe the officials have a flight to catch.
The officials recognize a lost cause when they see it and just want to get this thing over with.
2 minutes to go. New York has the football, but back at its own 29.
Hey, I know the Giants are in first and have a lot to play for, but you really, you know, personally have to kind of root for a Joe Bugle to get a shot and get a win. It's going to come at the Giants' expense, but I really like to see Joe Bugle hang around there in Phoenix. He's got the idea of how to do it.
This is a typical kind of position, though, where the Cardinals have found a way to lose a game.
By somehow, some way. The good ones don't, the bad ones do.
How about one more play? One throw to the end zone. La Chapelle, ball tipped, incomplete. Put it away. San Francisco 35 and the Rams 10. For Randy Cross, Jim Nantz saying so long from Anaheim Stadium. We send you now to New York and to Greg Gumbel.